Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahawashi, Bahasham, Brakahakwadash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule and teach well. In peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Ra'aya with another video, and I'm going to start it off in the book of Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 1. And this whole book is dedicated to the biblical Edomites, who are known as these so-called white people today. Your Americans, the British, Europeans, Russians, etc., etc. And the header reads, Edom will be humbled. The vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord Yahweh concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from Yahweh, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. But now I'm going to jump down to verse 7, which is more specifically dealing with these Edomites in America's allies eventually turning against them. All the men of thy confederacy, or your allies, have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. And again, America's allies, even their other European Edomite allies, will turn against her at some point during World War III, and they're going to ally themselves with nations like Russia, and they're going to shoot nuclear missiles onto the United States of America, which is going to turn it into the biblical lake of fire from sea to shining sea, and then a desolate, uninhabitable wasteland afterwards. But in this video, the ally that I'm going to be dealing with that's going to turn against the United States of America at some point to ally themselves with Russia is Turkey. And it also states that Turkey would be an ally under Russia in the scriptures in Ezekiel chapter 38. And I'm going to start at verse 1. And the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, which is the biblical name for Russia, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth. And that's talking about the Most High putting that old confrontational Soviet Union spirit back onto these Russian Edomites, which we can clearly see with their military operation in Ukraine, them building up their military assets in that Arctic Ocean region, and then doing deals with a bunch of nations across the planet, economic and military deals, starting to rebuild their former Soviet Union empire. And also where it says, and I will bring thee forth, that's these Russians being gathered down into that Middle Eastern region for the battle in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, the War of Armageddon, World War III, which you can read about in Joel chapter 3. And all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company, with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords, their military assets, tanks, fighter jets, artillery pieces, the S-300, the S-400. Verse 5, Persia, which is the ancient name for Iran, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. And some of Russia's allies that they're going to be helping, and that they're going to be helping them during the battle in the Valley of Jehoshaphat. Verse 6, Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them, a protector, an ally unto them. But I want to focus in verse 6 where it mentions Gomer and all his bands. This is speaking of Turkey. And I have a book right here that just goes into the history and the customs of the Israelites, titled The Israelites by B.S.J. Iserlin. And I'm going to go to a map on page 22 and 23. And I'm holding my camera in one hand and the book in the other, so I'm going to try to get it the best I can. Here's a map of the Mediterranean and the Middle East, and they have a lot of the ancient names there. Of course, you've got the land of Israel right there, and then you have Gomer right here. You've got the Mediterranean Sea, Italy, and the Black Sea. Now let's go to a more modern day map. Here's a map of the Middle East. What do we have? The land of Israel right here. Get it to focus. The land of Israel right here, the Mediterranean Sea, the Black Sea, and Turkey, which, as we just saw on that map, Gomer was in. So again, Gomer is speaking of Turkey. And like I've been saying throughout the video, Turkey, who is a current ally of the United States of America and these European nations, because they're a part of NATO, is eventually going to completely turn against them and ally themselves with Russia and fight on the side of Russia during the battle in the Valley of Jehoshaphat. And I opened up the video with these verses and that map to preface a clip from Wyon's YouTube channel titled "Sparring Over the F-16s, Turkey Demands Delivery of F-16s from the U.S." And we'll see in this clip that Turkey is getting frustrated with the United States of America on not holding true to a deal they made with them to receive F-16s from them, and they've been alluding that that would push them more into Russia's camp and start doing more deals with Russia. So we're just seeing the groundwork being laid for Turkey or Gomer to eventually completely switch sides and ally themselves with Gog or Russia. And besides that, over the years, Russia has been steadily moving closer and closer to Russia. They've been, which the U.S. and NATO was mad at. They've been buying the S-300 and S-400 missile defense systems from Russia. And recently, they partnered with Russia for Russia to help them build a nuclear plant in Turkey. And then just recently, the president of France, Emmanuel Macron, was chiding Turkey for the flare-up they're having with Greece right now. And that's just further exacerbating this split between Turkey, NATO, and the U.S. and pushing them further into the camp of Russia. But before I play this clip, this is a fair use copyright disclaimer. I do not own any of the footage in this clip, nor do I stand to gain from it monetarily. It is simply for educational purposes.
Meanwhile, strategic military weapons and equipments have long been at the center of geopolitical tensions. Nuclear weapons, submarines, and ICBMs have historically been at the center of a tussle, and now one of the world's most battle-tested and feared fighter jets is escalating tensions. The aircraft in question is the United States F-16. Turkish President Erdogan says that Turkey may turn to countries such as Russia if the U.S. fails to follow through in a pledge to deliver its F-16 fighter jets. Turkey was...
Be thou prepared and be thou a guard unto them. And whether this deal with the F-16s goes through or not, we know, according to biblical prophecy, that Gomer or Turkey will turn against the U.S. to ally themselves with Russia. And this is just another example of the stepping stones being laid down for that eventual betrayal.
Kicked out of a program to replace a wide range of fighter, strike, and ground attack aircraft for NATO allies after it acquired the Russian S-400 missile defense system in 2019. However, U.S.-Turkish relations started warming in response to Russia's assault on Ukraine as a NATO ally started getting closer once again. U.S. President Joe Biden assured Erdogan in June of his support for the sale of less advanced F-16 jets, but Biden's assurances failed to garner support in Congress. Leading U.S. lawmakers are now concerned about Turkey's tough rhetoric against Greece. And recently, Ankara has been inching closer to Moscow. Turkey, despite being a NATO member, has time and again made comments which go against the bloc's collective stand. Recently, Erdogan said that Europe is reaping what it sowed, referring to Europe's energy crisis and Western sanctions on Russia. The F-16 saga doesn't end here. In South Asia, too, these jets are raising concerns. The U.S.
that's it with this clip. But again, we can just see another example of biblical prophecy taking place right before our very eyes. Turkey or Gomer starting to cleave unto Gog or Russia, and Russia being a guard unto them. And again, as it said in Obadiah chapter 1, verse 7, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. A Turkey, in some instances here and there, siding with the U.S. and NATO, like they did a little bit recently over Russia's invasion of Ukraine. But as we see, when Turkey doesn't get their way, who's the first nation they go to for help? Russia. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee, and there is none understanding in him. So that's it with this video. And with this video, I hope you sincere Akim and Akwath were edified. Just keep strong. We're almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathen nations, chiefly of the Edomites. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babol, Kwam Yasharala, and until next time, Shalom.